Insta360 just did something very interesting. They gave early access of their new Luna camera to a handful of creators at NAB, and if you watch those videos carefully, you start to notice a pattern. Everyone is saying the same 5 or 6 things, almost word for word, and at the same time, they're clearly avoiding everything else. That's not a coincidence. That's controlled information under NDA. So instead of just repeating what they're allowed to say, I spent time going through those videos properly, watching the footage, analyzing what's shown, and more importantly, what's not being shown. Because right now, this is shaping up to be the biggest competition DJI has ever faced in the pocket gimbal camera space, and the timing could not be more perfect, especially for the US audience that couldn't even properly get the Pocket 4, and might face delays again with the upcoming 4P. I will be sharing the footage by these creators with all the credits. Let's start with what we actually know for sure. Insta360 is launching 2 versions of this camera, the Luna Pro and the Luna Ultra. The Pro is positioned as the more standard option, built around a single 1-inch sensor, and that puts it directly against the Pocket 4. But the Ultra is where things get serious. That version comes with a dual camera system, and that's clearly aimed at the Pocket 4P that DJI has only teased so far. So right away, this isn't just a new camera, it's a full lineup strategy designed to cover both ends of the market. Now, across all these early videos, there are a few features every creator is allowed to talk about. The first big one is 10-bit video with iLog. And that's something Insta360 users have been asking for a long time, and now it's finally here. Along with that, they're claiming around 14 stops of dynamic range, which, if it holds up in real-world testing, puts this camera in a very serious position for creators who care about grading and image control. Then there's the Leica partnership. The Luna is co-engineered with Leica, which means we can expect improved color science and built-in Leica profiles similar to what we've already seen in Insta360's higher-end cameras. That's not just marketing. Color is one of the areas where DJI has traditionally been very strong, so this is a direct move to close that gap. The next confirmed feature is the dual lens system on the Ultra model. Creators are showing zoom, but they're not allowed to mention focal lengths or exact specs. Still, from what's visible, this is clearly not just digital zoom. It looks like a proper multifocal system, which already tells us a lot about where this is going. On top of that, we know it's a 1-inch sensor with an f1.8 aperture, which suggests solid low light performance and good depth characteristics. And then there's something that might actually be one of the most important shifts here. Not the camera itself, but the ecosystem around it. Insta360 is launching a new wireless microphone system with direct pairing to the Luna. That's a big deal because up until now, one of their biggest weaknesses compared to DJI has been audio integration. This is them fixing that problem in a very direct way. Now, that's everything they're allowed to say. But the real story starts when you look at what they're not saying. The first thing that stands out is the zoom. When you actually watch the footage carefully, the zoom range doesn't look like 2 times or even 3 times. It looks much more significant, closer to 5 times, maybe even 6 times optical range. And if that's true, that's a major shift because the Pocket 4 relies on digital zoom, and even the rumored 4P hasn't shown anything at this level yet. If Insta360 is delivering true optical flexibility in a device this small, that changes how people shoot with these cameras entirely. The second thing is the timing. This is not random. DJI launches the Pocket 4, then teases the 4P, and almost immediately Insta360 puts Luna into the hands of creators. This is a direct response. It's fast, it's calculated, and it shows that Insta360 is not trying to follow anymore. They're trying to compete head-on in real time. And then there's the design. Creators aren't showing it clearly, but in some shots, especially around where the camera meets the handle, there are hints that something more is going on. It looks like there could be some level of modularity, or at least a separation between components. If that turns out to be true, then this isn't just a better pocket-style camera. It's a different approach altogether, more flexible, more adaptable, and potentially much more creative in how it can be used. Another thing worth noticing is the stabilization. If you pay attention to the footage, some clips look slightly shaky or jittery, which is unusual for a gimbal-based system. But this is almost certainly because these are pre-release units running beta firmware. Stabilization tuning is usually one of the last things to be finalized. So this is not something to judge the camera on yet, but it is something to keep in mind. And finally, there's the bigger picture. For years, Insta360 has been very strong in innovation. 360 cameras, action cameras, creative tools, but they were always missing one piece compared to DJI. A complete, reliable ecosystem, camera, audio, accessories, everything working together seamlessly. With Luna and the new microphone system, that gap is starting to close. And once that gap closes, the competition becomes very real. If you've already followed, a company called Extra already tried to replace or at least give alternative Pocket 3, everything worked well. But the only thing it lacked was audio, and that was a big no for a lot of people. Insta360 took it seriously and learned from this very example. So if you zoom out for a second, this is not just Insta360 releasing another camera. This is Insta360 positioning themselves to take over a category that DJI has dominated for years, because now they're not just offering an alternative, they're offering a different way of thinking about what this camera should be. And the timing makes this even more interesting when you look at the US market. Right now, a lot of users in the US couldn't properly access the Pocket 4 after launch, and the Pocket 4P might face similar delays depending on how things unfold. Meanwhile, Luna is already in the hands of creators, already being tested, and likely heading toward a broader release. That creates a real opportunity for Insta360 to gain ground in one of DJI's most important markets. So now the question is simple, but it's an important one. Where do you stand in all of this? Are you still sticking with DJI because of the ecosystem and reliability? Or is this the first time you're seriously considering switching to Insta360? And more importantly, does the idea of a dual camera system with real zoom excite you more? Or are you still waiting to see what DJI does with the Pocket 4P? We're very close to the point where all of this becomes real. The moment full specs drop, the moment real world comparisons start coming in, that's when we'll see who actually got it right. And when that happens, this channel will break it down properly. No bias, no hype, just what actually matters. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're subscribed, because this isn't just another product launch, this is a category shift.